So I block in, let's study a little bit this composition before we start. So we'll make an action plan here. Let's see, right, what we're gonna do. So the composition is quite interesting, right? As we study the composition for the Pontormo work, the deposition, we could study quickly the composition for this too, right? So we have this action that goes diagonally down like this, as you can see, right? You can see like that, right? So this, the whole body of this guy is directed toward the imminent strike, right? You can tell that the gaze, the leg, the body are kind of telling us eventually that hand is going to come down and hit the guy, right? So you have this incredible dynamism going this way, right? The focus, which is guy's going to be about to be killed, is also the attention of this guy is also brought by the fact that the legs are kind of containing him, right? So the legs are there, you're not going to go anywhere. So he's really pinned down to the ground by the leg side of this one. So we have this great dynamism going up and down like that. And then the whole scene is framed by these two guys that create some, they move away, right? They move away, of course, right? One this way, one that way. But at the same time, what they do, they funnel all the energy, like a Venturi effect, right? Kind of funnel all the energy down here toward that expands like that later, right? So kind of it's funnel, and then all this energy kind of comes out with even bigger strength at the bottom like that. So we see this, right? We see this, and we see this, and all the energy is going down to this poor guy, and the legs bring up the attention to this even more like that, right? So that's quite a very powerful composition, right? So let's start drawing now this, and 1 and 2, right? And now we really see how this line here continues with the leg and continues with the head. Like, look how beautiful it is, right? See that? Just all this is lined up masterfully, right, to do that. So I mean, now this leg in here stems from the hips. It's about here, and we want to make sure that we continue this flow, right, from the leg here, right? So we see now we're going to use a mixture of proportion and dynamism and composition, right? The dynamism guides, the proportion tell me how big these things are. The dynamism tell me how the alignment of these things are, because the alignment is charged with dynamism, right? Charged with movement, right? With action. So we are getting into the narrative effect of the work, right? So down like that, right? Boom. Maybe this will be straighter here. So now what we are doing here is we are starting to make the body into a carrier of aesthetic messages or dynamic or dynamism or concept, right? So it's then when the figure now the anatomy start gradually to disappear, or not disappear, it gets into the background, and the body becomes an aesthetic vehicle or narrative vehicle. So this leg now goes down this way, right here, and we think about the connection between these, right? The hips and the legs, right? This knee is lower, and this leg is now angled and coming up past here, so it's here. Right, okay, so now we start having that dynamism, right? And we have now the head. So the head, notice how the head is really included in the volume of the rib cage. So it's here, see that, here. And it goes down this way, right? Angle, right? Slightly angle. arm, now we can block in the arm. Look at that. Look at the round, the volume of the deltoid here, where the head of the humerus is, and you also see, look, the trapezius, right? Remember we saw it before, the trapezius, right? The trapezius here, right? Going to the head of the humerus here. That's the spinal scapula, right? That's the spinal scapula, and that's the scapula, right? That is latissimus. See that? Latissimus dorsi. Right? See what I'm saying? We try now to kind of rotate these figures, right? But having an idea where all this volume, etc., are, it really helps us to recognize the various muscle, the various form, even from different angles, right? So now that's the volume of the of the deltoid, the shoulder. The arm comes out like this, tangent to the face. So now, as you can see, I'm just worried about an angle, right? It's an angle. Look at that, right? Remember when we did this rendering here, the arm, right? Like that. So then here we can block in eventually the volume, etc. But that's what it is, right? We can render it like that. And you see how the wrist goes above, at the level of the head here. I just find the angle where this ends, and then that, right? I'm looking at negative space, but I also need to block in this forearm here, which is stemmed from the side of the head, at an angle like that. That. And the hands are these blocks, right? We can do these as blocks, right? Oh, this is higher here. All right, so we capture, even with a figure like this, which is done with ovals, cylinder, truncated cone, marshmallows, right? We can still capture the soul of the pose, the dynamism of the pose, right? So it's this is both the conceptual and really physical conceptualization of the figure, really. So movement, of course, the curvature, the joining of the segment, right? So this rib cage, right, and this rib cage has the same level, right? So there's not much space between this and this, right here, maybe. And so I block in this, we can draw this as a marshmallow, right? So the top of the spine here, see the bump in there? That's the 7th cervical, right? Is at the level of the face. So that's the 7th cervical. That's the bump right here. And I want to have the right angle for that. That's very important, right? So that's a big marshmallow. Then I have now the hips are square, are straight, right? And they go down at the level of the genital here. This is now goes down straight like this. And so 1, 2, right? We think of this volume, right, coming together. 1 here, 2 here. This leg now goes down that way with the knee as here. And now this leg goes down, encroaching this other leg here, right? Behind, yeah, see that right here, tangent to the thigh, and then behind the lower leg, and then it goes down like this, right? That's the hand, come down like that, right? So we try to really replicate that, see that here, right? So it's not just pieces put there. We have to give life to the pieces, to the segment of the body, if you want to turn into into you know, an expressive figure, right? Well, that's the other one, right? So now we're blocking the other guy, right? So this other guy is looking down. He says, it's raining axes in here, raining swords. Let me get out of the way. So this is now stemming from the hips here, right here, like this, right? So I would block it, the rib cage here. That's the belly. That I would block in the rib cage as something comes out from here. Let me see, right here. But we have this, okay, very close to the body of the standing figure, right? So here, and then we have the hips coming down like this. It's almost like he's stemming from this other guy, right? Kind of being projected away, right, by this. The friend says, sorry, oh, sorry, my wife's waiting for me. So this is the hips, right? This is the rib cage. I'm sorry, David, you were saying? Oh, it's left leg here, right? Yeah, it's going down this way and it goes here. So then from here, now we have the pubic bone here. So let's say it's about here. So the leg stems from there, right? We attach the leg here, right? And then this leg goes down back here, right? When you get so garbled, like so full of parts, right? It really is tricky because what I had to have this end, the leg ends up exactly where it's supposed to go. And if I don't have the right proportion, the leg could be too long or too short, and etc. So it's really good exercise to do like we did last week with Pontormo, because those figures really had to make sense with each other, right? The shoulder here is past his hand, so here, that's good. So this is now arm coming down like that. This head here. And now spine, right? And this is now here, down like this. I'm thinking of that cylindrical or truncated cone form with this the leg. Notice how the knee is sticking out, right? So this is not done from here. You're gonna move back a little bit and connect that lower leg here, this line here, right? Here and here, and then we could block in the volume of the calf. It helps, right? Yeah, right, very angular, right? Very, very angular, right? So so now what we can do, we can clean it up a little bit and then start blocking the muscles, right? Like we did for this guy here, but not so neatly, right? A little bit more artistically. Try to block in this muscle here and read what